Welcome to our third seminar of this series of DigiBiz Talk, Digital Era of Livestock, Blockchain-Based Solutions, brought to you by AITI. It is a pleasure to see everyone gather for the pursuit of knowledge, especially when it comes to enhancing our country's acceleration through the adoption of digital methods. Before that, we would like to bless this morning's event with the recital of Surah Al-Fatiha.
Astaghfirullahalazim allazi la ilaha illa huwal hayyul qayyum. Ila ratin Nabi Mustafa Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. A'udzu billahi minasyaitonir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Arrahmanir rahim. Maliki yaumiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghairil maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin. Amin.
Amin, amin, ya rabbal alamin. Next, I would like to invite Yang Mulia Muhammad Nurul Ham bin Haji Zaini from AITI to give his welcome remarks.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And a very good morning to all of you. We thank you for your time to participate in today's session on our series of DigiBiz seminar. It is a great pleasure for the Authority of Info Communication Technology Industry of Brunei Darussalam, AITI, to welcome you to this webinar. Ladies and gentlemen, DigiBiz Talk is one of the initiatives by AITI to encourage ICT and digital adoption in the country, particularly to support the growth of the businesses through a series of relating to emerging technologies. Today's seminar focuses on agriculture industry and aims to promote the adoption of technology, and today's titles the webinar to create insights on digital era of livestock, blockchain-based solution. Blockchain is a system of recording information in a way that makes it difficult or impossible to change, cheat the system. Blockchain technology can be used to consolidate data on a variety of topics, including livestock quality, tracking, and the path of livestock from farm to the market. Blockchain also makes it easier to add meta information to the data and structures. Furthermore, consumers will be able to make more educated decisions thanks to blockchain's data collection, and they may even be able to help small-scale farmers who are often in need for food and financial securities. Ladies and gentlemen, to have a better understanding on the topic, in this session, we have invited narrator and regional experts. Before I end the session, I would like to thank Recap for facilitating this webinar. I wish everyone an enjoyable and informative session. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Yang Mulia Muhammad Nurul Ham, for your speech. Finally, I would like to extend a very warm welcome to our esteemed speakers, Effendy Zulkifly, who is joining us today all the way from Malaysia, alongside Agni Pratama all the way from Indonesia. Our first speaker, Effendy, is a certified blockchain expert from the Frankfurt School Blockchain Center and has obtained a certificate of fintech program from Oxford University. He is the CEO of a software development company called Blockworq and also founded Crypto Valley Malaysia and the World Robotics and IoT Association. He is also an author, actively promoting the value of Industrial Revolution 4.0, blockchain, and emerging technologies, specifically in the fields of halal blockchain and food supply chain, decentralized mobile wallet, and blockchain as a service, also industrial IoT. Our second speaker, Agni, is currently the Chief Operating Officer at CHIC Token and the Chief of Marketing and Business Development Officer at Hasla Incorporated, with over 27 years of experience across the private and development sectors. He has led, coordinated, and guided the activities of different teams and various business partners in the delivery of a number of value chain and market system development projects, ranging from high-value crops, craft, renewable energy, home furnishing, fashion, furniture, and creative industries. Yan Rezky Fahza will be using us into the webinar today as a moderator later during the Q&A session. He is a professional with over 20 years of experience in the blockchain space, banking, financial services, IT industry, venture capital, various strategic management functions such as enterprise strategic planning, assets and liabilities management, and enterprise development. Currently working as a venture capitalist, he has been appointed as a judge or mentor in several startup competitions and was recognized as one of the contributors to increasing the creative economy capital ecosystem in 2017 by Becraft. He will be introducing our special guest speaker later, so keep an eye out for that. Final notice that there will be a photo taking session at the end. And now without further ado, we will start with this webinar. So the floor is yours, Effendy.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to everyone. So my topic for this morning, with the time duration 30 minutes actually is not enough for me, but I will do the best. I need at least 3 days, 3 nights to talk about this topic. It's a very huge and very massive information, because when we talk about livestock digitalization, it's not just one segment technology of blockchain, but actually is about combination of many techs actually. So we talk about digital, it's not just blockchain, but blockchain is the best technology that will be integrated with other tech as well. So my topic on digital era of livestock, I will focus on digitalization, livestock, and of course, the focus will be on the blockchain-based solutions. So a little bit about myself, already mentioned about Hani. Basically, I am blockchain architect. I think just a 4 blockchain architect in Malaysia. And this is our ecosystem on the blockchain. We have our own event on the BlockTech, and my office, my company doing system integration, my movement in Malaysia, basically in media, in television, radios, and on the movement of the entrepreneurship as well. And okay, now we talk about digital transformation. When we talk about digital transformation, it's about the 5 solutions on customer-centric business ecosystem, including customer, product, services, stakeholder, and also any shareholder that involved with the same platform. And of course, now in this kind of new era, digital transformation, civilization, so the usage of internet, smartphone, cloud computing, big data, deep learning, AI. I wrote a book called as ABCs that are changing the world. A is AI, B is blockchain, C is cloud, and D is data. So these ABCD are very important and will be explained by me in my slides related to digitalization on the livestock industry. And of course, when we talk about blockchain, also called as Web 3.0 or digitalized webs, is a new wave, next wave of business buzz. And of course, when we talk about blockchain, people always refer to Satoshi Nakamoto, mysterious guy, with his paper in 2008 on the Bitcoin. But again, blockchain that I involve actually is not just Bitcoin, because Bitcoin only one part of the application of the fintech in the blockchain ecosystem. Blockchain is a core. It's beyond Bitcoin. It's beyond cryptocurrencies. I will explain after this. So please understand, we are talking about Web 3.0, where Web 1.0, I already 41 years old. So basically, we involve with the early stage when people, 1990s, right? I'm part of the earliest, of course, with the baby boomers as well. So Web 1.0 just focus on the read only static, while 2.0 read, write, interactive, such as like this kind of social media, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, but still control the data by the companies, the core companies, right, that hold all the data. But when we talk about Web 2.0, actually is about independency in terms of our data management, where we control our data, and also we can create economy, money from our datanomics. Okay, it's a simple explanation. So what is blockchain actually? We talk about blockchain, it's about solidly easy word. I can say that it's about block is data and change how we change the data. Or in easy layman term, I can say that blockchain is about data management. It's not rocket science. It is a very critical on how we want to ensure the data, the ledger, the public ledger can be used, can do some sort of transparency with capacity of accountability, transparency, focusing on the business process or in any organization or individual. And although blockchain was popularized by Bitcoin, but blockchain itself has its own distinct underlying infrastructure, which Bitcoin is the first project until now, very successful until now, and very famous and quite matured compared to other things. But now blockchain is beyond Bitcoin, and a lot of misunderstanding when we talk about blockchain, only Bitcoin or cryptocurrency. But actually, my solution not just on cryptocurrencies. We're not so much involved in cryptocurrencies. We are focusing more on the supply chain, halal blockchain, livestock, and we did some of a pilot test as well. All right. In other way, using blockchain, something that we can do some sort of new interaction of business processes. For Muslim, for example, I believe so much. Blockchain people learn from Quran. Because why? We can say that Quran is a ledger, where this ledger is a public ledger already copied by 1,000 years. We have the Sanad, we have the consensus, we have the Genesis block. Iqra, for example, is Genesis block, where until now we cannot change the Iqra word, right? The first word. If you have to change the Iqra word, Iqra means that you need to change the Sanad, the Perawi, I mean the Rawi, I mean the chain from the first word, right? From the first one until that cannot. It's impossible because already copied, already memorized by the Hafiz. Same goes to the blockchain public ledger, where the first block are still we can see the first block, Genesis block, where is the first Bitcoin. Until now, we cannot temper it, we cannot change it because of the chains of the block. So I believe that Quran. I'm not the scientism perspective, but I can see that they learn a lot from Quran itself. You know, we have Hafiz. We copy, you know, the Quran until now. So same goes to the concept of a philosophy in the blockchain. All right. When we talk about blockchain, yeah, 4 elements: shared ledger, cryptography, consensus, where you need to have some mechanism of verification from the public servers. Means that Hani can be the server, me can be the server, Mr. Agni Pratama also can be the server, in order to do some sort of verification. So the elements of blockchain is very powerful because you need to have cryptography, where involved on the security part, on encryption, decryption. You need to have a consensus or P2P networks to verify, and of course it involves some sort of game theory or economic theory as well. So in the blocks, they will have a version number, timestamp, the nodes, or something that is I cannot explain now. But it's something like the hash. It's like something like the number. I mean, the number registered under this kind of algorithm. It own hash, very secure, and also we can trace from the Genesis block, for the first block until now. All right. There are 3 types of ledger, right? Most of database we use in our office, the traditional bank, they are centralized bank. Means that Hani have bank, right? I can hack your bank because why? Everything data from your side, only one, centralized. So it means that if I want to hack you, happened I think 5 years ago, Standard Chartered in China was hacked and lost 200 million USD. And a lot of scandals of the data, scandal of the data on supply chain, scandal of data of passport, of your identity in Malaysia happens a lot because of bribery, because the data only controlled by monopoly in what you see. By bribery, you can change the data in passport. But if you put in a blockchain public ledger, many people can verify, you know, a lot of public servers is almost impossible for you to hack this kind of decentralized data or distributed data, right? Okay. So this is some sort of architecture. When you want to do adoption, quite challenging, but you can have an API, you can have some sort of industry solution, middleware, on integration, and Solidity actually is a part of the language in order to compile, to combine, to integrate. I'm part of the Solidity programmer. We did a lot of solution by using Ethereum compiler, for example. Sorry, I cannot explain. If you're a technical guy, we can have another session after the recap on the technical. But this is just an architecture on how we can do some sort of architecture on implementation. So ecosystem, use cases on protocol. I will get through all this. And now we are in process from 1.0 blockchain, basically for cryptocurrencies, because Satoshi Nakamoto focused on financial technology because of that time, 2008, economy recession, and focusing on this group of team, maybe an individual also, they focus more on payments, on this kind of the wallets. But when it comes to 2.0, they are more on the the security, and now blockchain 4.0 focusing on IoT device integration that we can use a lot, especially in the livestock, smart farming as well. And this how blockchain works. I just mentioned just now. Someone requests the transaction, then P2P network have a computer's nodes to validate, to verify, and can use on many potential application for voting, healthcare in Malaysia. For our vaccine, our government use Hyperledger private blockchain for tracing and tracking the vaccine with 3 nodes. We did but not yet voting. Automotive still in pilot test. So this is a practice on the blockchain distributor, the data, you cannot tamper, the hash, the timestamp. And these are problems that blockchain can solve on the government operation, voting, supply chain, cloud storage, charity, and real estate. There are too many. This is a future of technology. What Academic Forum are involved in this movement. Blockchain calls as technology for integrity. They call as a tech for integrity, T4I. So promoted by World Economic Forum. And this is more on the technical side. On doing blockchain is not easy, but of course not impossible. Quite challenging because on the tech stack need a lot of people. The UI phase, the API, on integration, the data, and on the blockchain side, there are many layers in terms of technology stack, and not so much people involved yet. And of course, in Malaysia, we do a lot of awareness, education, creating the talents. And I would like to share my expertise as well to Brunei as well to keep the talent. Maybe we can work with universities or any person training center on how we can create more talents who can do this kind of technology stack on protocol layer, network layer, services, and also application layer. And of course, we can use it to building trust. We can use it for decentralized data infrastructure as well. Okay, now, I'm so sorry, not so much on the technical perspective. I need to have more session time with recap after this. Maybe for people in the technical, I'm so sorry. Maybe some of you are technical one. But let's go. We go to the main topic. The main, meals, just now it's just a teaser, right? Okay, now we talk about digital livestock and farming solution. So it's not about blockchain only. Because why? Blockchain is a thing that is something like data management system where garbage in, garbage out. Right, we need a sensor, we need another tag as well to get the data. A lot of people, met me and then ask Effendy, I would like to have my project, my company in blockchain, but I will advise them, please ensure certain parameters. Are you ready for blockchain? Because if you're not, if you're still analog, your data still compiled with traditional way, right? Still write up in the books, in the logbook, you are not compatible yet to use blockchain because you need to have some sort of digital transformation on big data analytics, on how to get the data is very important. Right. So another tag is very important because of that I also involved in the IoT as well. So, okay, what actually is digital livestock farming? So estimation by 2050, projection population of human will be 9 billion. People, right? Muslim more than 2 billion, right? I will explain why I relate to Muslim because we Muslim consume a lot of halal food as well, and the demand also will increase to 70%. This research by this kind of World Economic, World Organization, Food Association Organization, FAO. So digitalization will ensure for us to meet the growing demands on animal protein. At the same time, we can concern about SDG, Sustainable Development Goal, public health, and also animal welfare, right? So this is some sort of how PLF, precision livestock farming, on the feeding, on the immunization, genes, blockchain, how we can put some on the big data as well, how the data we can put in blockchain to ensure the integrity, the transparency in terms of supply chain. And then the challenges to traditional business model is because of how we can monitor in terms of the cost, validity, timing, insight. Farmers basically they are not well versed with technology, right? How we can monitor the data, how we can collect the data if they don't then well versed with the technology. But if you use technology, we can increase the growth, we can ensure a lot of things in terms of supply chain management. And of course, most methods are time consuming, labor intensive, and costly. Traditional way, livestock farmers always rely upon observation from stock people to detect health. It means that you need to use a lot of masses of workers, right? Then if you don't have workers, it's quite difficult for you to do some sort of monitoring. And of course, without workers, this kind of traditional way, they have some sort of critical lack in terms of overlook into this welfare of animals on the stockpile as well. And then from the last decade has seen major improvements. A lot of now automation on feeding system, making robots. I will share after this. And this PLF technologies utilize a lot of process on engineering principle. For example, the biometric sensors. I have my intern, his project on biometric sensors as well. So these biometric sensors can monitor behavioral and psychological parameters of livestock, on the psychology, on the pH, metabolic activities, in order to locate external to animal, and also not attached like surveillance camera, to can use some sort of a GPS, global positioning system, in order to monitor all these kind of animals. And then the thermal infrared camera also to ensure the disease, the fever may be affected to the livestock, cattle, and this biosensor, we can include thermometers. We can record easily by using wearable sensors. Radio frequency identification also very important on utilizing the embedded in ear tags, and we can monitor behavior on activity, eating, drinking. Is very important for the farmers to monitor. And of course, this kind of ecosystem on how IIT on the farm, the base station. By this, we can have the data by using the GPS as well. And one project they call as a moon monitor. They can monitor all the pregnancy of the animals, decreased yield, the heat, the low rumination, the pedometer as well can identify ostrich behavior, the tail chart, the vaginal temperature, a lot of things. The poultry production is spread of a disease, feather pickings on the chicken, vocalization, and then also some sort of automatic waging system in poultry as well. Biometric sensors in swine. By using RFND, you can use some sort of swine farming, include 2D and 3D cameras. Microphone to monitor whether infection on calving, for example. A lot of devices here need to be used in order to get the data before we go to the blockchain. So blockchain is the last thing. We need the data, and the method to get data is very important in order for us to utilize blockchain blockchain is not a magic. People always have a wrong perception, understanding about blockchain. You need to have a collaboration with people that using another things in terms of data collection as well. And facial detection as well. My office use facial. We normally use this kind of what you call punch card. We use a facial ID, and facial detection is one growing area of interest in automated animal welfare monitoring as well. Facial expression actually analysis, for example, pigs, in Western world can be specific enough to determine behavioral intent in animal, right? Whether the animal is smiling or not, So it's part of this kind of technologies, grimace scales to know whether it's particularly in pain. So it's a powerful technology that we can use on the monitoring. Ear position, whether is it muzzle tension. It's a very good technology actually. Now we are getting nearer to the blockchain. I just have another 10 minutes. Big data analytics is very important on a big learning, because we want to do some livestock monitoring. Biosensors, big data are defined as data sets with large number to ensure the visual inspection of the data. So this 4 weeks is just a concept on variation of data. But I want to show this. It's very important to show that how big data can be integrated to machine learning, and of course, it's a branch of AI in order to get some sort of statistical prediction and inference. And you can see, right, when we have the data, it's easy for us to do some sort of olfactory breath analysis data, heart rate, thermal imaging data. We get some sort of analysis, mining, statistic, and of course, it's very important to get this kind of analytics on the rapid semi-automated data processing, where the cloud will be very important for us to do some sort of cloud computing environment. Is very important that I mentioned just now, in order to get some insight info to the dashboard, to the farmers. In the future, all the farmers, the modern farmers, will use data scientists in order to do some sort of analytics for the livestock. Now we want to talk about blockchain, and blockchain is a digitalized or distributed encrypted ledger, where blockchain will ensure the node, will ensure the blocks, will ensure all the parties, to ensure the sustainability in terms of data is very solid. People cannot change it. People cannot do some sort of what they call a fake data on the supply chain, especially on the halal, right? And then of course need some sort of this cloud processing, smart contracts, where between maybe from the farmers to the supply chain, logistic, until the end users, you can put some sort of smart contract on trading as well, on data transaction as well. And this kind of a livestock automation is a architecture where we can put some sort of a prediction, IoT, herd management for the cattle, the livestock management, supply chain management, cold chain management, right? After you do some slaughtering, so you slaughter the animals, you need to have some sort of cold chain management, where the blockchain will be the mainframe at the base for every data that already collected by us in the livestock automation ecosystem. And I think this the whole structure that I can mention, but I would like to extend more as an extra to all of you here. We settle about the livestock ecosystem, the data that we put in the blockchain, right? So we can do some sort of monitoring in terms of livestock management, livestock health as well, livestock operation. There are 4 layers. Until then, we put in the blockchain for food safety, for the price management, for the digital marketplace, for the food R&D. But I would like to enhance on the how we can use also for the blockchain on halal solution. It's very important for us in livestock, because for Muslim, we are very care so much on the halal food, but how we can ensure the slaughter method are doing properly, were doing properly by this ecosystem. A lot of scandals in Malaysia, for example, in my country, where they change the kangaroo, for example. Some of them we don't know, is it a true they're using Islamic methodology on the slaughter, and how we can do some detection. And we came with this kind of solutions as well, from farm to the fork, where we put some sort of data transaction, where every farm detect by in the blockchain ecosystem. If the slaughterhouse as well, we identify who is the slaughters, where slaughterhouse, especially for our Islamic affairs, they need to do some sort of audit. But when COVID pandemic happened, a lot of audit process cannot be done properly, because all the this kind of what I call the borders closed, right? So what we can do, digitalize, put in the blockchain, but it's quite difficult because the cartel control. Sometimes people don't. Integrity will make another cartels lost. Because maybe they want to do some sort. They said this a cow. Is it cow or not cow? Maybe another animals, right? So we can put many layers, and we put some sort of 4 layers. We did this in Malaysia in one mall. We call it a Malakat Mall in Malaysia, in Cyberjaya, where we created one pilot test solution for their ecosystem from the farm, because they have their selected farms from Australia. And then from the farm, we put some sort of a QR code with blockchain information from the packaging, from the slaughterhouse. Actually, we identify who actually is the slaughters. We identify the packaging, and then from the packaging, we also put some sort of lorry info, transportation, because most of the scandal happen because of the transportation. We don't know where they move. They change the movement. Because we need GPS as well, until into the groceries and to consumer. At least consumers, when they created some sort of this kind QR scan, they know where actually the process and where is the farms, where is the packaging. So the thing that we can do beyond our control actually, but it's quite difficult to enforce or to adopt this technology, because all the segments sometimes they don't give some sort of collaboration, because in every chain, every level, sometimes they are not cheating in terms of not slaughter or putting mix, but sometimes on the pricing mechanism. From the procurement, right? Maybe they want to cheat their boss. They put some the pricing, they put some markup pricing. So when you use blockchain, you need to be transparency. You need to have some sort of integrity. But it's a challenge for us to adopt this the high level integrity and transparency in terms of the data management, and to accept the technology. And then of course we created something like for Islamic affairs as well, where Islamic affairs give some sort of certification to the certification body worldwide. For Malaysia, they have almost 100 countries, right? So we put this certificate in the blockchain to ensure that the certificate maintain, sustain. People cannot change, maybe cannot cheat. Sometimes this slaughterhouse or the restaurant, they don't have halal, but they just photo state, they just copy this certificate, and actually it's just a fake certificate. So putting blockchain to ensure this certificate are authentic and cannot be faked. So in terms of system and development objective, of course, we want to ensure the security halal is strong. Halal logo also sometimes is very weak. Just photo state, you can paste at any product. Maybe some cheaters, they just want to make profit. They use this logo halal, and then they fake it and they put in the product, but they don't have some sort of assessment and also verification from the Islamic bodies, for example. So we strengthen the logos and putting something like geoanalytics into the labor scan as well, and also demographic of consumers. And this is the process, for example, on the QR code, where the QR code are very powerful actually. We have some technologies. Then we put on the dApps, decentralized application for blockchain, where we have a location, timestamp, serial ID, and data blockchain. And then this kind of authorities also can do some monitoring, or the owners of the business, who want to ensure that they get the authentication for the meats, for example. And this is a project that we did last 2 years with the deputy minister. Do some launch in the event on we created some sort of, we call it a halal blockchain network, where this project we can supply chain real-time data capture, physical identification, from slaughterhouse, from farm to the fork, blockchain integration, and we have a vision that we want to comply for the more than 2 billion now Muslim in the world, including kosher, right? The Jews also use, they also didn't consume, they also do not consume pork or this kind of what you call vegetarian as well. And from farm, packaging, transportation, groceries, we put some sort of a QR code for the end users. And now I would like to share on Malaysia and blockchain ecosystem. In Malaysia, our central bank focusing on the fintech regulatory sandbox, and AC focusing on cryptocurrencies, while our bank central bank we focus on KYC, know your customer, AMLA, anti-money laundering, and a lot of agencies involved. And my NGO tag, Crypto Valley, actually is an NGO, non-profit organization focusing on blockchain, DLT hubs, do some sort of training. And also I also bring this kind of ISO for blockchain, TC 307 now. We have a meeting in Abu Dhabi last year, where we are now strengthening the ISO level for blockchain. And in Malaysia, last 2 years, we do some movement where we've not forced, actually, we influence to the government to use blockchain, to accept blockchain as a part of the national fourth industrial revolution 4I policy, where blockchain was accepted as part of the 5 foundational technology, including IoT, AI, for this kind of education, agriculture, utilities, manufacturing, transportation, and healthcare. And this is our experience, my experience in the worldwide people of the blockchain. We are the champion for some project fintech for the blockchain. This is Tan Sri Darul Bakar, is a chairman Syariah for the central bank and SC. And I met Vitalik Buterin. People in blockchain will know him. This guy, a very young guy, Malaysian government invited him secretly on 2016. Talking about his social Ethereum. That time his value only 10 billion, now almost 1 trillion USD, and he possesses at least 20%, 10% Ethereum. Means that he can be a richest man in the world, but because cryptocurrencies very difficult for liquidity, so he's not the richest man, not actually recognized by the Forbes. But I believe he's a very powerful because his social is very powerful. He's just 27 years old. And I met a lot of people and talking about blockchain in Dubai, for example. They created some policies, smart Dubai government. I was a speaker there, 2017, talking about blockchain smart, and my involvement in more than 22 countries, talking about blockchain. Only Africa not yet. Inshallah this year, talking physically before pandemic, and hopefully I can visit Brunei as well and list my books. I will share this book. If you guys can WhatsApp me and tell your name, where are you from, your industry, then I will give you my book as well, the ebooks. I'm talking about this book about blockchain actually for my student. We have professional diploma in blockchain tech endorsed by 2 universities in Malaysia, public university and private university, where I have 6 batches my students, and I doing also my PhD on the blockchain as well, on the manual. And conclusion, I will finish this. Only 1 minute, 2 minutes. Yeah, honey. We need to have some sort of a harmonization of the frameworks, government, public sector, for the people, education, and awareness. Do more collaboration with any parties that want to use blockchain, and of course, need to prove to the public benefit as well. And let us get ready for the change on the organization from fiat money to digital money, change in accounting, taxation, doing raising fund as well. They are very famous in the blockchain acquisition or the raising fund, change in internet. We can go for Web 2.0 now. Need to understand, need to study technology opportunities, and I am the green guy. I can say that I'm part of the education now because I need to create the talent. So I need to work with universities. Hopefully I can work with universities in Brunei as well, or university in Indonesia, to talk about how create the talent, how the students can have additional value to learn blockchain, and they can work remotely to the worldwide. A lot of demands now for the blockchain architect, blockchain developer, blockchain community manager, not just programmer, but also people for the business perspective. I'm the green color. I'm involved in doing a lot of modules for students and also in the industry. And that's all from me. And please contact me. I would like to have more collaboration in Brunei, especially in Indonesia, maybe in Singapore. Please, you can scan it. You can get my slides. And please WhatsApp me. If you want to get the free books, ebooks on the blockchain, please WhatsApp me and introduce yourself, your name. Then I will send you my several ebooks about blockchain. That's all from me. Thank you so much. Thank you to the organizer. Thank you to all the speakers and the VIP. And thank you to the moderator. Over to you back, Hani.
Yes, thank you, Effendy. Thank you also for giving your contacts and the opportunity to learn from your ebooks. I like how you emphasize the importance of transparency of data. I think that's a good thing about blockchain, and I'm looking forward to see how Brunei integrates this into our system. We'll hear from you again later during the Q&A, but for now, we'll be hearing Agni's side for now on how he applies technology through CHIC Token. On to you, Agni. Thank you again.
Thank you, Ani. Hi, everyone. Good morning once again. Let me introduce myself before I start my presentations. My name is Agni. I'm the CEO of CHIC Token. It's a startup. Actually, it's just starting a few months ago in poultry industry. Before I start, I'd like to thanks for inviting us to join this very valuable meetings. I think we have already learned a lot from Mr. Effendy. Thank you, Mr. Effendy. I think in a very short time you actually summarize the importance and actually the technical sides of how blockchain can actually contribute in the developments of a lot of sectors. So we're not just talking about livestock, but any kind of sectors in economic developments. Okay, so the project names or our startup names is CHIC Token. CHIC Token is actually one of our projects, one of our spin-off from our company called Semesta Digital. So Semesta Digital is actually part of a group called Semesta Group. So Semesta Group is actually a group of companies we focusing in several industries, but mostly in creative industries, agricultural developments. We also have creative, tourism sectors, industries or businesses. We start working with different types of supply chains, including livestock supply chains and particularly in poultry supply chains for several times. We understand the importance of blockchains, we understand the importance of digitalizations, we understand the importance of distributions of benefits and economic opportunities. So we actually have a very big dreams in our group. So we envision to free the world from hunger. So we start from a very big dreams, which is, we call it it's a very, like a utopian level of dreams. Yeah, we want to free the world from hunger. And how we are going to do that? We would like to give everyone access to contribute and be part of the developments of disruptive and agile farming business models. This is one quote from our presidents. We know that we are having a food crisis at the moment, and then we know that one of the way to stop the crisis or to reduce or mitigate the risks of the food crisis by using the technology. And then we understand that we need a lot of collaborations. I think Mr. Effendy mentioned several important quotes. I think we talk about decentralizations, we talk about distributions of data, we talk about a share ledger, we talk about security, immutable and verifications. I think what has been mentioned by Mr. Effendy actually summarize what we're trying to do, what our country trying to do. In national level, the government would like to see a lot of changes in managements of Indonesia's natural resources, not only natural resources but also in the agricultural developments, including livestock, particularly on poultry. And why we are very interested in this business. I think from the business perspective, as you see that from the research that we have, and then from the research that we've done, and then as you know, and I've already mentioned by Mr. as well, that the demand of livestock is very huge, and in Indonesia itself, as you know, that as you might be aware that Indonesia has 13,000 islands. You can imagine that we have populations of 270 million people. And we have thousands, or right now around 9,000 islands, and everyone actually needs a good of protein, and carbohydrates. And then at the moment, one of the problems in Indonesia is, of course, the distributions. Not only how to distribute a good and high quality meat, but also how to distribute it. So who's supposed to distribute it? Is it going to be the governments? Of course, we cannot rely everything from the governments. And is it going to be the private sectors? Of course, we have to work not only alone, but we have to be in partnership with a lot of people. As mentioned as well by Mr. Effendy, that halal certifications, transparency, accountability is very important. So in Indonesia, we have several problems to solve in the market of meat distributions. One, the inequality of the poultry supply chains. At the moment in Indonesia, the poultry supply chain is dominated by large companies. It's about 70% from the total demand is actually, total production is actually produced by large companies, and then leaving the traditional farmers into a very traditional farming systems. Also mentions by Mr. Effendy that traditional farmers, they don't get access to data. They don't know how to integrate the data. They don't know how to use the data to develop more efficient and cost-efficient business models. Where the large companies, they have all of the privilege and all of the capacity to develop their own the integrated systems. So at the moment, the economic opportunity is very centralized. It's not distributed. It's dominated by large companies, and that is actually what we want to change. CHIC Token, we would like to see a different world. We envision that everyone in Indonesia has the opportunity to become a part of more fair supply chains, poultry supply chains. We would like to see more actors included, and also become part of the supply chains, like particularly the poultry supply chains. That's why we develop our solution. This is our solution. So we would like to see equality of chicken supply. As I mentioned before, that in Indonesia, the supply is really managed by large companies, large group of companies. It's very difficult for small groups of farmers to enter a bigger market with a fair price. Usually the price is controlled by large companies. These traditional farmers usually become a very small part of supply chains where they are located in a very vulnerable positions. The relations between supply chain actors is still not equal at the moment. We see that the large companies can still, controls all of the pricings, the demand controls, the market controls, including the product controls. Everything is actually controlled by large companies. We would like to change that. We would like to see more traditional farmers change or transform themselves to become like more efficient companies. They become part of a strong part of supply chains. They contribute in the supply chains, and they receive more benefits. In Indonesia, we also have problems with a price volatility. I think it's not only in Indonesia, like in Malaysia and Brunei, probably in other countries, in terms of meat price, and also particularly on livestock or poultry price, we have very volatile price. As you know, that the volatility can actually very dangerous and very jeopardizing the life of the farmers or the traditional farmers, because they cannot control the price. The price is really controlled by large companies. So usually the small or smallholders or traditional farmers, they can only have one buyers. The price is controlled by the buyers. Sometimes of course they get support from the clients or the off-takers. They got the DOC or the seeds, and then they got the food. They get health systems from the off-taker with the price that the price is controlled by the off-taker. So that is something that we want to change by giving enough supply to cover the demands, and in introducing more transparent systems. We would like to see the equality of opportunity, of economic opportunities. And also we also see the in the bigger picture, we know that the chicken or poultry industry's demands is very huge. In the next 10 years, I think it will increase by 10 times, I think. And then the large population still need the distributions of meat. So we would like also to see to expand this business model to other countries. So we want to see the expansions in Indonesia, but also want to see the expansions to other countries. By the end of the day, we would like to see the quality of life of farmers, improvement of the quality of life of farmers. We would like to see more farmers become, a part of the supply chains. They got more benefits. So we would like to see that the improvement of the quality life of the farmers. So the solutions, I think technically, Mr. Effendy has already informed us how the blockchains can help the developments of the livestock industries. We would like to see and we would like to develop platforms and ecosystems where we can include the blockchains to help us to reduce the cost, to help us to reduce the risk, and also to help us to give us easier controls and management systems in developing our business model. We would like to see that the blockchain can help us to develop a better ecosystem for the farmers and also give advantage for the market actors to develop smart farming systems. So as you see that we would like to integrate the feed mill, we would like to integrate the the slaughtering house, we would like to integrate the outlet or the stores by developing this one blockchains where everyone can actually be part of it. And then, as mentioned before, that is very secure, it's very immutable, it's verified by everyone, and actually everyone can see and track back how this business can actually serve them better, like in terms of pricing, in terms of halal certifications. We can make sure that the end customer can see where the meat come from. Was it properly produced? Was it properly slaughtered? Or was it really halal? In the past, it's very difficult for us to control, but by using the blockchains, it's very easy for us to track back. We already mentioned before, smart poultry is modern systems that powers the entire poultry ecosystems in transparent, efficient, and integrated manner. By using the IoT systems, we can see easily now how we can, if we want to control our farming, or we call it closed house farming, we can check whether the temperatures of the farming is correct. Like as you know, that poultry is really sensitive industries. We have to make sure that we understand the animal welfare. Systems where we provide a much better environment from the chickens to grow. We give them the right temperatures. We give them the right zonations. We give them the right compositions of feed compositions. By using the IoT, you can easily control the feed, the millings, and we can also control the health factors of the closed house. We would like also to see that this is going to be new business models that can be replicated everyone, and also become a very sustainable business, because it involves everyone, including all the stakeholders. We mentioned before, Mr. Effendy mentions that blockchains is is vehicle, but the main issues is actually the collaborations, the partnerships between all of the stakeholders. Blockchains will bring everyone to one table, including the governments and stakeholders involved, starting from the planning, implementations, monitoring, and evaluations process. Everyone can be part of this of the systems in more cost-efficient manner. So this is our smart poultry systems that right now we're developing from the DOC, or we can see the hatching date departures of the seeds of the DOC, day-old chicken. We can see the farmer informations from the farmer name, the food supply, veterinary certifications, biohazard certifications, departure date to the slaughterhouse. We can see everything from the blockchains. Waste informations. We can see by using the blockchain, we can see the slaughter informations. We can also control the logistic market informations and also the payment. So this is how we are building and how we are going to reach our dreams. In the first stage, CHIC Token will be used to fundraise and then to develop a broiler farm. So in 5 years, we would like to see 500 broiler farming, smart farming across Indonesia. So we would like to start in Java. Right now, we're starting in Java Islands, where all of the demands actually here, and then we want to expand to 4 other provinces in the next three years. Maybe you're aware that we are having a new capital city in 2 years, and then it will be serving 5 million people there. And at the moment, the chickens or the poultry or the livestock coming all from Java Islands. We would like to see and expand our business to nearby cities, so that nearby cities can provide in like a adequate amount of meat to the central or capital city. So this is how we are going to expand our business. First years, we want to have 9 condo farms or 9 area in Java. Second years, third years, fourth year, and the fifth years. We would like to see to expand our business in Southeast Asia in the next 5 years with the same business model. We know, and then we see the opportunities, and we would like to actually invite everyone here. If you all also interested to be part of the systems, you can also contact us. If you like to see whether we can work together to expand our business to your locations. So what is actually the impact that we want to see? Like first, we want to free the world from hunger. We want to have a quality educations, like by having like more access to people to have a better lives, then we can actually provide a better quality of educations. We also see that the climate actions that has been like underlined by our governments, that we would like to see the like the emissions go down, and net zero emissions in 2050. We would like to be part as well by having a very controlled farming systems. We know that the use of energy, we want to see the transitions of using the energy to be more efficient and then to reduce all of the emissions. We want to see the good health, and then industry, innovation, infrastructures, and of course the partnership for the goals. And this is our ecosystems at the moment. We work with the ministries, and then we work with the other private sectors. We work with the crypto and blockchains ecosystems, where we actually right now developing our foundations of the business, which is the condominium farming itself. And then in the same times, we develop our coin as part of our fundraising methods. And at the moment, we are also developing our NFT. So we also give everyone, not only in Indonesia, access to become to be part of these ecosystems. Like by having the ownership of the NFT, you can actually also own a number of farming. So we would like to promote the distributions of economic opportunity, not only as the like the players on the supply chains, but you can also part to become the investors to fund the developments of our business model. This is our like a product, like the block from the blockchains. We would like to have the token. We develop the blockchain right at the moment. We would like to see the blockchain for supply farming. This is our tokenomics. Right now, we have already minted our coin, and we are about to launch our coin in several weeks. And at the same time, we also develop our NFT, and then we will going to launch it in a very short time as well. So we will also like to invite everyone here to stay connected with us. So when we launch both of our token and also our NFT, you can also be part of our movement. This is our token roadmap. Later on, if you're interested, we can also share how you contribute or how you become part of our business, how you're going to buy the CHIC. And this is some of the media and publications where we launch our condominium farming, and then also we launch our tokens. So what we want you to see in the next couple of weeks, that CHIC token will be launched, and then the NFT token will also be launched, and then this will strengthen our business foundation, which is the condominium farming. This is our existing project, the condominium farming. So we start with the 3 hectares area in Java, where we start the condominium farming, where everyone can be part of the owner, as the owner of the farming. So once you buy one closed house farming, you can actually own your own land and the building, and we are going to operate the systems. So we have been working with the established supply chains from upstream, midstream to downstream. So the business model is already established, the supply chain is already established, the off-taker already established. We already have clients who can guarantee to buy 100% of our products, whatever products we can produce. So the sizes, and also they already give us like guarantee to buy it in a very good pricing. So we got guarantee that the off-taker will buy at the minimum price of our cost on goods sold. So if the market price is actually lower than the cost on goods sold, they will buy it and then hedge it to the COGS pricing. That's why traditional farmer, if they would like to transform to become part of our supply chains, they will not suffer from the market volatility anymore. If you need any more or further information about our business and our business models, you can also contact us. Contact me through WhatsApp, contact us to our social medias. You can also see our medias here in our in Indonesia. We have Instagram, we have LinkedIn, we have Facebook. So hopefully that our big dreams, where we want to free the world from hunger, can be achieved by having blockchains and its products, which is the token and also the NFT. I think that's all for me from now, Mega, for now. I think if you have questions later on, maybe we can discuss more in more details. Thank you, everyone. Back to you, over to you, Hani.
All right, thank you so much, Agni, for your presentation slides. I think it's really interesting, and I'm looking forward to hearing more from you later during the Q&A session. It was such a wonderful peek into how much blockchain can contribute to the agri-food scene, particularly in the livestock industry. While waiting, we will be showing a video on Penjana, Productivity and Efficiency Joint Funding for Digital Adoption, which aims to encourage the adoption of digital solutions by MSMEs through financial funding to a portion of the solution's total cost.
Penjana scheme is a joint funding scheme and is open for businesses 100% local owned by Brunei residents and permanent residents. The business must be categorized under micro, small and medium enterprise. The business must be active and operational for at least 2 years. Eligible MSMEs who wish to follow the scheme will need to pay a minimum amount of 30% to a maximum of 50%, where the rest will be covered by AITI. The percentage depends on the annual turnover of the MSMEs. Just to highlight, the maximum subsidy provided by AITI will be 5,000, which will be made available for 1 year. To know more on this, you may visit AITI website.
Now I will pass the floor to our moderator here, Yan Rezky, to introduce our special guest speaker, followed by the Q&A.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Thank you for the introduction as our special guest today. Well, Haji Sabirin has over 30 years of experience within the banking industry and now is the general manager of PDS Abattoir for almost 4 years. Brunei government under the purview of Darussalam assets, which includes the importation, rearing, and slaughtering of livestock, production of proceeds products to marketing. Tuan Haji Sabirin devoted himself corporate culture and cash management, and has recently. So, Tuan Haji Sabirin, please, the set is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think, first of all, thank you for colleagues from AITI for these opportunities to actually get myself and the company involved in such what you call that important initiative. The other thing is I would also like to thank fellow speakers, what you call that, Effendy and Agni, for very enlightening presentation. I have been given the task of addressing three questions here. I think I just want to share the experience that we have been enduring in the last 3 or 4 years. There is what do you call that? PDS is actually what do you call that? In an entity mainly involved in the importation of live cattle from Australia, and then we do the slaughtering in Brunei. plus the distribution. That has always been the key business for PDS in the last few years. What actually happened in the last few years, we have been the local industry, the local livestock industry, has actually been providing 30% of the requirement of the country. That changed very rapidly with the occurrence of COVID, when there was totally no importation of frozen beef from any countries at that time, and local industries were suddenly given the task of fulfilling the national requirement 100%. So just to put things in context, companies like PDS, for instance, were doing slaughtering about 300 to 400 every alternate month. Then it went up to about 2,000 every month. So that's the kind of magnitude in terms of the escalation of responsibility we have at that time. So we went on for about 2 years. So you can imagine the amount of expansion in our operation was significant, and it covers all areas of our operation. The key challenge was control of costs. Traditionally, PDS was a family-owned business before it actually taken over by the government. So everything was almost analog in that sense, in terms of controlling and in terms of recording of data and everything. So that contributed to a challenge for us to manage and to control the expansion of our operations. But Alhamdulillah, we've gone through that challenges. But then it is very much back to normal now, meaning things are now back to pre-COVID situation. But we have another challenge. Now that we have extra capacity, what do we do with it? That's a different challenge altogether. Suddenly we have the production capacity that surpasses the national requirement. So it requires different kind of thinking now. It requires us to think outside the box in terms of what do we do with the surplus capacity, this and that. Then in order for us to be efficient, in order for us to be effective, hence the recognition that we have to modernize, we have to start adopting digital technology, this and that, in terms of control and everything. That is become more and more emphasized at the moment. So we are engaging on various initiatives at the moment. We are engaging on adopting some systems in place in order for us to be efficient, in order for us to be compatible to other players. Because I mentioned about being able to go to export market, this and that requires a lot of transparency in terms of auditing and checking by overseas buyers. So all this thing now is become a paramount important for PDS to be recognized globally. So that's basically where we are at the moment. But then we mentioned about the other current development in the market is also relating to the competent authorities. I think like colleagues in other countries as well, food industry is very much regulated. The same in Brunei, the key regulators for the halal aspect and of course food safety. So we are regularly regulated, but what has actually happened recently is there are more emphasis on ensuring that we practice good farming practices and the maintenance of standard, international standard, this and that. We also see the creation of new authority in the market. Brunei Darussalam Food Authority is an addition. So basically, the industry used to be regulated by Ministry of Agriculture or Department of Agriculture plus Brunei Halal. So now we have another authority that looks after specifically in the area of food safety. So it's an add-on to the the regulation aspect of the industry, which is very, very good in terms of assuring that the consumers are protected. Plus, we all are ready in terms of meeting the international requirement in future. So that basically has been the major development in the industry in Brunei in the last few years.
I see. Thank you, Pak Sabirin. So, would you like to share with us what are the current development or any breakthrough that are being implemented in the livestock industry right now?
The current development is, I think very much the players plus the competent authorities are realistic enough in saying that, okay, we cannot just look at Brunei market on its own domestic market. And then there's also this continuous aspiration to leverage on Brunei halal certification. We believe that there are certain sectors in the global market that demand for such certification, and we want to leverage on that. So all the key elements are being put together. That means the operators plus the regulators are working together now for this.
Thank you. So what do you see Brunei in the adoption of blockchain technology in livestock industry currently?
It is, I think, what I can share with you, it wasn't, perhaps if you asked me the same question years back, my question would be slightly different from what it is now. Having seen the experience of managing the operation, then it is becoming very, very clear that we have to modernize, we have to have the technology to be efficient, to be to have the control over the operation. The thing about the industry is in itself. I come from a financial background. It's always been classified as high risk industry.
Right.
There's just too many corners and surprises sometimes if you're not careful. And then I mean, let's talk about importation of live cattle. For instance, just one live cattle, you only know whether you're making money from that particular importation maybe after 150 days or so if you're not careful. Yeah. If you're not careful, there might not even be money to be made. So hence, the control must always be there. So it cannot be done manually, especially, you have different facets of your operation, different people involved, different information. But at management level, you have to have all this cohesiveness in terms of getting information for your decision making. So you need to have the platform for you to collect all this information to make a sound judgment going forward. Yeah.
Right. Yes.
So in other words, it is important. It is now becoming more and more apparent that industry in Brunei have to adopt such technology.
I see. So do you think right now it's still in the early adoption stage for Brunei to really embrace the blockchain technology?
All the what do you call that initiatives are being undertaken at the moment. All the groundwork has been undertaken, thanks to all the various authority in terms of creating the talent pool, this and that.
Okay.
But then at companies level, a lot more need to be done. In terms, it's not just like what my colleague was saying. It shouldn't be seen as a magical solution.
Yes.
They are fundamental that need to be addressed. They are fundamental that to be aligned before we embark on that. But it's all learning process at the moment. I can say at PDS level, we are engaging in that at the moment. We are actually progressing. There's still a lot to be learned. But then the thing about technology is it's always evolving. You shouldn't be content about what you have achieved now, but then progressively, how do you sustain that? And then how do you ensure that your people or the team are learning from it and progressing with the technology?
Right. Agreed. So what are the challenges actually that you foresee in adopting this technology in Brunei particularly?
It's to an extent, majority, if you're talking specifically about livestock industry in Brunei, I would say scale. Scale is one thing. Brunei being slightly smaller than Indonesia,
Right.
being small, size is one problem, is one issue, or rather one challenge. And then traditionally, the livestock industry in Brunei has been, like I mentioned, family-run businesses. So
yes,
this is the first generation. So, you know, the important thing is whether the next generation is savvy enough to pick it up, to actually have the aspiration to modernize the company, this and that. So these are the key challenge. So the change in mindset, the belief that the industry, there is actually money to be made. And then, you know, ultimately that's it. If you see the potential of the industry, and then you'll be prepared to spend more time, you'll be prepared to spend more resources. That's one thing. I think for Brunei case, it will also help to see, you know, more and more success story within that, be it in the farming industry, be it in on the adoption of the technology, you know, how the company has benefited. And then that would also help, what do you call it, convince people that, you know, this is the way forward.
I see. Yes. Thank you, Tuan Haji Sabirin, for your explanation. Really excited. Big applause for Tuan Haji Sabirin. Okay, so currently I see we have several questions from the audience. Let's see. The first one is from Sainurdin. This is for Pak Agni, I guess. The question is, how did you manage to get buy-in from stakeholder on tokenization business model? Okay, Pak Agni, maybe you can address that.
Thank you, Pak Yan, and thank you, Pak Zainuddin, for the questions. How we managed to get a buy-in from the stakeholders for the tokenomics business model.
Yes.
As we all understand that the stakeholder engagement is always it's always a challenge. Like when we talk to one part of the ecosystems, everyone will give exactly the same answer questions. What's in it for me? If the private sector would like to contribute, what's in it for me? And then for the investors, what's in it for me? For the farmers, if they invite them to be part of the supply chains, the same questions will arise. What's in it for me? So, over years of my own experience in developing a complex business model in a complex value chain system or market systems, that is actually the ultimate questions that we need to prepare before we actually develop the business model. Like we need to understand exactly what is the relations between the current relations between the stakeholders, the supply chain actors. What is actually the problems in the upstreams, midstream, downstreams? So what is actually the root cause of the problems? We need to understand who are the stakeholders that actually could be engaged in the first phase of the development of the business models. So I think how we get the buy-in first, from our experience, we have to use the market system approach, or we call it market system development approach, where we always talk to the private sector first, where we talk to the off-taker first. We need to start to discuss with the private sectors. Okay, we know that you actually need supply. We know that you actually have huge demand from the end customers, but at the moment you need more supplies. And we know from the data that right now you don't have enough supplies. So if we provide you solutions, would you like to see the business models where you invest this much amount of money, but you will get the return this much? So what we need to do is to provide them with like a profound business models. We need to show them financial models where the first stage is the private sectors or the off-taker. We call it a primary partner or primer partners. And the off-takers, they would like to see that if they join this business model, they will get their return in the near future. And we know that like any investment, we like to exit from our investments in 3 or 4 years. We don't want to stay in the one investment for like too long. So we need to make sure that if they want to join this business model, they will get the return in like in a short period of times, which give them more incentive comparing their traditional business models or conventional business models. So that's what we did in the first place. Hasta company, our company, we discussed with our supply chain partners. We know that they need more supplies. We know that they have demands, and then they have the interest to develop more smart farming systems. So we provide them with these business models where we can actually include everyone to be part of the ownership. So because we know that the highest cost in developing this the business model is actually the infrastructure cost. We have in our groups construction business unit that can actually develop these farming systems, and like we have the competency, we have the experience, we have all of the supply, so we can actually provide them with a very fair price and then we can also develop the systems in-house. So we give this like a business model and financial model, so we get the buy-in from the private sector, so the whole supply chain. So when we say the private sector, it means the provider of the seed, the provider of the healthy systems, the provider from the feeding, and then the off-taker, the slaughterhouse. So we partner with this established supply chains, and then we got their buy-in. That's the first stage. The second stage, of course, like right now we are in the first stage. Like we are still starting up our company. So this is the first stage. In the same times, we actually already discussed with the stakeholders, which is the media. We talk with the startup communities. We talk with associations of traditional farming. We already talked with the government agencies. And then they see that as long as they get the benefit, as long as they have the incentive, we show them the incentive, then they will get buy-in. So and that's what we did, and then that's what we got so far. So that is also how we actually develop our CHIC token, like and then our NFT right now. So we need to make sure that everyone in the supply chains we have to understand what they need, the incentive they're looking for, and then we can show them and present them so they can see the incentive for being part of this business model. I think that's all for now. We can discuss later. Bye.
Okay, thank you. Now I want to go to Pak Effendy. Pak Effendy, do you have any experience on this kind of situation also? Can you share with us?
Okay, I think I would like to share. It's a very nice question, more on from Azmina actually. What are the common challenges that new startup may face when implementing blockchain, and how to overcome? Because I was mentioned by the organizer that most of the participants are also startups,
Yes,
as well. Most of the problems, because I've been in more than, I think, 10 years in the corporate world before I started my startup 4 years ago, before I get second seat on my Blockworq, right? The most challenges are in terms of how you want to choose the best blockchain platform first. Second, how to choose the niche for your solution. We can study from CHIC Token, for example. They have their own niche market, and the challenges, of course, before to have this kind of niche market, you need to have the best team. It depends on what startup you are. Basically, usually when we talk about startup, we talk about technology startup. Basically, startup will more on the technology. Basically, we will use technology. This is a common understanding, yeah. So first must understand how to find the blockchain platform, and of course, people will talk about cost. I will put the last thing, the cost. When we talk about cost, it's about money. So we'll involve some sort we call as a time. In terms of, for me, in order to have a good business model, you need to consider 4 words: T-I-M-E, time. T is about time. You need to have time to forward to create your solution, and then you need to have idea, of course, very good idea, niche idea, and you need to have money. Yes, agreed. And E actually is energy, but of course, money actually for me consists of 25% of your efforts to do some solution. right? You have idea, you have energy, you have time, and find somebody that have money, but they don't have time, they don't have energy, they don't have what you call idea. So that's startup we need to do, right? To find the incubators, to pitch, to be involved. You need to very aggressive to pitch your idea. At least you have idea. Startup came from the idea, actually, idea concept. Then you need to have energy. So what actually how to overcome? Of course, by having this 75% of idea, 25%, time 35%, you have energy 35%. You just need to complete another 25% of money. And of course, in Malaysia, in Brunei, in Indonesia, a lot of incubators, this kind of angel investors. I started with, honest to say, I started with the angel investors from Japan, actually. So he put some budget, this small budget for me to set up my company, to at least to have one, good programmer that can assist you to develop some sort of a mock-up platform. And then make sure to choose a very good idea concept based on like mentioned by CHIC Token just now. So please don't worry about 35%. I know you will talk about 35%, right? The money is 35% on your effort. The rest are yours, and I believe you can have this kind of a solution. So that's from my perspective to answer Azmina. So please start up, be energetic, and don't lose hope. Pray to Allah, and you have efforts, fully effort, and inshallah tawakal, Allah will help us by having a doa and usul. Because why? The expert actually, we want to do some solution for the people, right? Like CHIC Token. Basically, okay, to answer the second question, so what actually the challenges on implementation of the blockchain in agri-food? Of course, the challenges is the tech adoption, the policy, because why? The database, they don't share you the database. They don't want to, especially on when you do something on the transaction. I think Mr. Sabirin can teach us, can guide us on how they manage, right? Because need some sort of import-export, means that you need to have some sort of regulation compliance, right? This regulation compliance, it means that the database, how you want to get some order, how you want to ensure the halal compliance for the slaughterhouse. That's another issues. But the second issue and on how you can put a blockchain database to ensure they comply with your database is another effort need to do from authority, for example. So this movement, community is very important. I believe on community movement. Thank you to Recap. Thank you to Mr. Sabirin. Thank you to Mr. Rezky and of course Agni. We need to have this kind of strong community to ensure the ecosystem will understand us, accept us, and of course preach more to the authority. Follow pro-regulation in anything that crowdfunding you want to do. Make sure I'm advising almost 25 projects worldwide, including European. That some of the people who create the token, they get some money. Actually, it's an advice for me as well. You get some crowdfunding for 10 million, right? For example, 10 million USD. Whether you want to put the money for development or you just pull the money, because ICO sometimes is very, very robust. Sometimes it's not pro-regulation. So in order to do, if you have to use blockchain fintech crowdfunding, please follow regulation, because you can ensure the security, the safety, and then to give good image to the industry. So hopefully I answer your question. In terms of inflation, yeah, database, policy making, business model must be clear. And then again, like Mr. Sabirin mentioned just now, what actually the profit, right? Most of the investors, they will see on ROI, return of investment. But I always tackle back to this kind of investors. Don't just see on our first ROI. See, and then please consider second ROI. We call it as a return of innovation. Return of innovation need times, at least 3 years to 5 years. Netflix still take 5 years. Grab, for example, in my country, from my country actually, they get investment from Singapore. Now they are unicorn. They take until now still not profitable, right? But why this kind of investors put some fund? Because of they have said they claim they are database company. They have the data. Tesla also is not the automotive car. They don't claim they are automotive industry. They are database AI company. So we need how to play the words, how to shoot to show the investor that we are the return of innovation methodology, that I have that kind of ideas. I would like to share to the people, to the startup in Brunei, maybe Indonesia, on how we can manage this kind of return of innovation methodology. Instead of ROI, right? Sometimes they just put money, then at the end they just ask us forward, show me the money, right?
Right.
It's quite difficult. Most of the ASEAN, Malaysian, Brunei, Indonesia, I've been more than 32 countries. Investors always see from the traditional perspective. But if you go to Silicon Valley, idea already you can get money from idea, right? But not in Malaysia, not in ASEAN country. They want to see the business model, they want to see the business plan, they want to see the PNC, 3 years, 4 years, something like that. It's quite challenging in Malaysia. Yeah. But I mean in ASEAN. But I believe a lot of changes in the government now is government they understand that in order to help the industry startup, because 95% basically in companies actually is from the startups, SME, right? Who actually is a route for the business for the Malaysia, actually 95% actually from SME, not a big corporation. Big corporation sometimes when happens recession economy, they will collapse. They will fire thousands of people. But at least my company small, just 20 staff, 10 programmers. At least we still can survive from the COVID. I mean, from the kind of lockdown. Like big companies, something like that. So we are strong. We are like grass, right? So please, positive. Work with network, go for the network, for the community, ask guidance from people like Mr. Sabirin, in the corporate way. But of course, please startup people, don't so much robust. You need to learn also corporate strategy as well. After certain years, 3 years, 2 years, you need to adopt corporate mentality, right? In order to scalability, scale up your company, you need to follow corporate methodology on the audit and also your cash flow as well. That's all for me. A lot of things to share, but please give me chances to visit again Brunei, Indonesia, to see face to face. And I also want to invite all of you to come to our event blocktech.asia. We talk about block technology 4.0 in August. I will send invitation to all of you to talk more about this matter. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you, Pak Effendy. Okay, so I saw there's some question. Sainurdin asking, am I correct to assume that you are providing PAS to the retailers? Is this PAS open to public to participate? Should they interested to join as a small scale or backyard farming?
Okay, thank you, Pak Sainurdin, for the question. Yes, like in our system or business models, we are developing ERP. So in the as one of the products in the blockchain, like after the blockchains, we're going to develop this. We are right now developing the ERP. The ERP will be used by the supply chains actors involved in our business models. So the ERP includes the like a supply chain actors. At the moment, the ERP will only involve the internal supply chains. So when we call internal supply chains, is only starting from the DOC, and then the processing, the broiler farming, the slaughterhouse, and then the off-taker. So when we say off-taker, it's the big off-taker, like the one who buy the entire productions of the farming. So from the off-taker to the retailers, for the first stage, is not using the internal systems yet. So the PAS will be like very internal and then very close. This is our first stage. So in the second stage, which is the second year, where we're developing the downstreams, which is the distributions of the products. So retailers, the outlet, food outlets, the smallholders outlets. So then the PAS will be expanded so that everyone in the supply chains will be using the same PAS. So basically, at the moment, still very internal in the supply chains, but in the second stage, it will involve the public to participate. At the moment, we're also working only in our internal condominium farming. So when we say condominium farming, we have our own land. We develop several closed house farming. So and then we invite everyone to be part as the investors or the owner of the closed house farming, the building. So we invite also the traditional farmers to become or to be part of the investors. So when we talk about a small scale or backyard farming, at the moment, this is not the problem that we would like to solve. So we actually would like to invite them, the one who actually has the small scale farming, to be part of our farming. So it will be located in one locations. It will be covered with our operations. It will be operated with our own our peoples, and then we will have our closed ERP. They become the investors, and they will get access to the PAS. So they will see when the DOC is coming, when is the chicken time to get the baby chicken to our farming. They will see that in a day-to-day basis. They will see whether the chicken has been fed properly, when they got like antibiotic. Will get all of these health systems, so they can monitor it if they become the investor. So that is actually the transformations that we would like to introduce. We would like to develop a small clusters in different locations, and then invite traditional farmers to become part of the supply chains. So not using their own backyard anymore, because using their own backyard has a lot of risk, biosecurity. That's the most important things, like the mortality rate, which is very high if they want to do it traditionally. They don't know how to deal with the disease. They don't have their own vet doctors. Where in our cluster, we will provide one doctors per cluster. So we will have like a very close and rigorous monitoring systems in terms of combating the mortality rate. So we actually encourage small farmer to become investors, but they will contribute in the monitoring. So they will, they can be, investors where they can still do their own things. But in terms of farming, they will be handled by the operators that they can actually monitor. I think for that's my answer for Nordin.
Okay. Thank you, Agni. So I know there is some question that still need to be addressed, but because we have a limited time, unfortunately, we cannot answer all the questions. So I want to use the closing time for asking one closing question to every speaker. So how do you see the role of blockchain technology evolving in the agri-food industry in the coming years? Please, Tuanku Sabirin, maybe you can go ahead first.
Yeah, we mentioned quite a number of times about the importance of collaborations between the stakeholders, and we need to have that platform, the right platform, to have this done efficiently and in a secured manner. That would, in a way, provide assurance in terms of the quality, the consistency in quality, quality information and quality of products. So it is very important. I think I end my note with saying that we have gone to the crisis when we cannot do much. We can't even bring anybody to the factory or to your business place to have all this initiative done. So do not wait till another crisis happened. So do it now, do it with systematically, but you need to move forward. I mean, this is the new way of doing business.
I see. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Effendy, how do you see the role of blockchain technology evolving in the agri-food industry in the coming years?
Of course, I also want to answer the Iman question, same question. What is the impacts in the future, right? Of course, it's very positive because blockchain will increase transparency, increase trust in the multi-party visibility in terms of supply chains. So in the future, because already acknowledged by World Economic Forum, blockchain is a nascent technology, is a core tech for integrity. And of course, in our country, Malaysia, already announced Malaysia is a part of the core tech for IR. So it's very important. Anything that involves data will use blockchain. Believe me, in order to be a country that developed like Western countries, we need to adopt blockchain in every aspect of life. Something like Dubai government, right? They are doing blockchain for any layers of the government system and private as well. We can eliminate some sort of scandals into supply chain for the halal, so they increase it effectively. Because a lot of effect of money actually when supply chains break, right? So hopefully CHIC Token will success, because I think CHIC Token have a very powerful solution in terms of this kind of poultry ecosystem. And I would like to see more visionary that we can lead, ASEAN can lead. In the future, I believe, compared to another tech like engineering, they are all tech, right? Basically, maybe Western world very powerful, but when it comes to the blockchain, people from overseas, Western, they can still things that tell that, wow, anything they want to sell to us. We can develop something, we can lead from ASEAN to the world. We can lead from ASEAN to the world, and blockchain actually is for everyone because it's still infancy, still new, means that we have a chances to be the number one. Hopefully, CHIC Token will be the number one in the world. Maybe it can be a powerful blockchain solution on the halal as well, where we can work together. But must be have some sort of a community-based, cross-border countries, cannot work silo. You need to have a more stronger community. I believe on that method. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, we agree that the blockchain will be the future of the world, right? So Pak Agni, your closing statement.
Thank you. So I think just like the everyone's quotes here, but Sabirin and then by Effendy. I mean, we see that blockchain offer you with equality. Like we can have blockchains to combat the inequality of economic opportunity. Like the blockchain is actually as the manifestations of distributions of incentive for everyone, where everyone could be part of a better value chains, where everyone can be part of solutions, where we can share the values of our visions, and and in the future we can see that blockchain is actually the solutions of social issues, not only in livestock, not only in agriculture sectors, but blockchain will be a solutions for all of the inequality that right now we're seeing in the world. So that is actually our big visions. We want to have a very inclusive economic opportunity for everyone. So I think blockchain will be the integral part, a very important part, and that is something that we need to advocate all the times by doing these collaborations. I think collaborations will also become the same statements that I would like to say right now at the moment. That's all, Pak Yan.
Okay, thank you. Once again, big applause for our amazing speakers today. So thank you for the closing statement, and thank you for all the audience for your opportunity to see the event right now. For me, there is something that we want to emphasize, like Effendy said, and all the speakers. We need to build a strong community that can support the technology to grow further and make the mass adoption more smooth and more benefit for all the party involved. So I think that is for today. On you, Hani, for your closing.
Right. Thank you so much, Pak Yan. I would like to give my appreciation to Tuan Haji Sabirin for shedding light on Brunei's industry, and I look forward to the collaboration to move us all forward. Thank you also for Effendy and Agni for sharing your insights on how you incorporate blockchain within your own operations. And I do appreciate you, Pak Yan, for moderating and making the session informative. I hope the audience will leave this webinar feeling inspired and have something to take home. I will now be giving the mic to Yang Mulia Muhammad Nurulhan bin Haji Zaini from AITI for this event's closing remarks.
Thank you to our speakers, Mr. Effendy and Mr. Agni, for the informative and insightful session today. And also thank you to our special guest, Haji Sabirin, and to our moderator, Mr. Yan. By adopting blockchain technology in agri-food, it may improve quality control and food safety. It also increased traceability in the food supply chain. Again, thank you to you all, and your presentation is very much appreciated. I hope everyone was able to have a fruitful takeaways that will be applicable for your businesses or your organization. Now I shall pass back to Hani.
And Alhamdulillah, we have come to the end. Thank you again to AITI and our speakers, our special guest speaker as well, for this opportunity to expand our knowledge on blockchain for the agri-food industry. With that, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and have a great
Assalam.
Waalaikumsalam
See you again.
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.